Imagine this. You're sitting in one of the city's most exclusive restaurants. Velvet curtains, crystal glasses, perfectly polished plates. The air smells of roasted garlic and seared Wagyu steak. You're about to take the first bite of your $700 meal, when suddenly a neatly folded napkin appears on the table. 3 words written inside make your fork stop in mid-air. Do not eat this. This is not a movie script. This happened to a man named Jordan Ellis, a billionaire in disguise, walking straight into the heart of corruption. What happened that night not only exposed the rot inside a lavish dining room, but also illuminated the quiet courage of a young woman named Maya Carter. Follow me, because this story will shake your understanding of power, racism, and the price of silence. Golden light poured down from crystal chandeliers, scattering across polished silverware and delicate wine glasses. Velvet curtains framed the grand dining hall of the Gilded Pearl, a place that sold not only food, but status. A pianist in the corner played soft notes on a glossy grand piano, each sound floating through the air like perfume designed to seduce the senses. Guests entered in waves of wealth, men in tailored tuxedos, women in shimmering gowns, the air heavy with expensive colognes and whispered conversations. Waiters moved like dancers across a stage, their trays balanced, their smiles practiced. Everything was designed to impress, everything gleamed. And yet, into this world of excess walked a man who looked as though he didn't belong. He wore a navy hoodie, faded at the sleeves, and sneakers that had seen better days. No tailored suit, no expensive watch. He entered quietly, calmly, almost invisibly. That man was Jordan Ellis. When Jordan Ellis stepped inside, the warmth shattered. At the podium, Samantha, the blonde hostess, flashed a rehearsed smile until she noticed his hoodie and sneakers. "Reservation?" she asked flatly. "No," Jordan replied evenly, "but I'm sure you have room." A sigh. "We're full. But you can sit near the kitchen." Jordan's faint smile. "That'll do." As he followed her, whispers rippled through the dining hall, pearls glittered, brows arched, and silence hung heavy. At the bar, manager Harlow frowned, his sharp eyes fixed on Jordan. Jordan moved calmly, sneakers squeaking against marble, observing every stare, every word left unsaid. His seat, a small table by swinging kitchen doors. No candle, no flowers, just the smell of bleach. Samantha dropped the menu, politeness gone. Jordan folded his hands. He wasn't here for food, he was here for truth. He remembered childhood, guards tailing him in stores, his mother's raw hands scrubbing floors, his grandmother's voice urging, "One day they'll know your worth." And yet, even now, richer than nearly everyone, he was treated as if he didn't belong. A white waitress passed him by. He raised his hand. Nothing. Then came Maya Carter. Worn shoes, weary eyes, but dignity in her smile. "Good evening, sir," she said softly, respect he rarely received in return. Jordan looked at her, truly looked, and for the first time that night she felt seen. As Maya left, Jordan observed, Samantha laughing with a wealthy guest, Harlow grinning with another suit, both glancing at him with contempt. In silence, Jordan sat like a mirror, reflecting the truth of the room. The chandeliers sparkled above, but shadows gathered at his table, shadows about to uncover everything hidden in the light. Maya Carter moved quietly between tables, balancing trays heavier than her frame. At just 25, she already carried years of sacrifice. Once a law student at Howard, she had dreamed of becoming a civil rights lawyer. But when her mother's illness drained every dollar, Maya returned home and took this job at the Gilded Pearl. Here, she wore her smile like armor. It hid exhaustion, long shifts, and the sting of unfair schedules. While white colleagues worked light hours, she was assigned the toughest nights, always blamed when things went wrong. In the kitchen, Chef Dalton's orders snapped like whips. Vega laughed at jokes that cut deep. Manager Harlow barely acknowledged her unless it was to criticize. Yet Maya endured because silence kept food on her family's table. That night, she noticed the man in the hoodie. Jordan Ellis didn't act like the usual guests. No arrogance, no dismissive tone. When she approached, he looked her directly in the eye. "Good evening, sir," she whispered, her practiced smile trembling. "Thank you," Jordan replied simply. The word felt heavier than she expected. Respect, so rare it startled her. Maya turned away, but unease followed. Jordan wasn't just eating, he was watching, observing, almost as though he was waiting for something. Inside her, a crack formed in the silence she had carried for too long. Tonight she would see something that would test her courage and change everything. Behind the golden chandeliers, the kitchen was chaos, heat, smoke, and cruelty. Chef Dalton smirked as he prepared the restaurant's most expensive steak. With a casual, deliberate act, he spat on the meat. Beside him, Vega laughed. Maya froze. Her chest tightened. This wasn't a mistake. It was routine. Her hand shook as she grabbed a napkin. On it, she wrote quickly, "Don't eat this. Check the cameras." Walking back into the dining hall, she slipped the folded cloth beneath Jordan's cup. He paused, met her eyes, and quietly pushed the plate away. No words, just understanding. And in that instant, Maya broke her silence. Jordan folded the napkin slowly, slipped it into his hoodie pocket, and pushed the untouched steak away. His calm mask was still there, but inside fire burned. Mr. Harlow noticed. The manager, ever polished in his sharp suit, walked over with a rehearsed smile. "Is everything to your liking, sir?" His voice was smooth, but his eyes were sharp. Jordan leaned back, gaze steady. "I'd like to see your kitchen cameras." The smile cracked. "I beg your pardon?" "You heard me," Jordan said evenly, his tone like steel. "The cameras." Now around them, the dining hall buzzed on, oblivious. But at that small table near the kitchen doors, the air grew heavy. Harlow hesitated, then tried deflection. "Sir, perhaps you don't realize—" Jordan leaned forward, voice low and cold. "I'm the man who signs your checks. And if I see one more lie, you won't have another one to cash." Silence. The manager's face paled, his mask slipping. For the first time that night, he was the one cornered. In the shadows, Maya watched, her heart racing. For years, no one had ever spoken truth to Harlow. Now someone had, and the balance of power had shifted. The dining hall still glittered with laughter, but at the corner table the storm broke. Harlow's excuses faltered under Jordan's glare. Finally, with a trembling hand, the manager led him into a small office behind the bar. Maya followed silently, her heart pounding. On the monitor, Jordan demanded the feed. No edits. Raw footage. The screen flickered, then the truth unfolded. Dalton at the grill, leaning over the presidential prime. The deliberate spit. Vega's cruel laughter. Another clip. A steak dropped on the floor, served anyway. A black couple waiting half an hour for food while the kitchen mocked them. Maya's breath caught. She had lived it. Now it was undeniable. Jordan leaned closer, voice cold as steel. "This is your house, Harlow. And this is what you allowed." The manager's face drained of color. No more excuses, no way out. Jordan pulled out his phone, sending the footage to his team. From this moment, everything changes. Maya stood behind him, trembling, but for the first time, not with fear, with hope. Jordan returned to the dining hall with Maya behind him. The glitter of chandeliers dimmed under the weight of silence. Dalton and Vega were pulled out of the kitchen, Dalton sneering, Vega uneasy. Jordan's voice cut through the room. "This ends tonight." Guests froze, forks mid-air. Harlow stammered, pale and sweating. Jordan silenced him with a glare. Security arrived. Dalton and Vega were dragged out, arrogance shattered. Maya's chest rose with hope. For once, the walls of the restaurant no longer hid cruelty. They trembled with change. The storm had passed. The chandeliers sparkled as if nothing had happened. But the air in the restaurant was different now, lighter, honest. Jordan returned not in his navy hoodie, but in a simple dark suit. He stood at the podium, voice steady. Last night, truth came to light. And today, we rebuild. Maya stepped forward, no longer just a waitress. The crowd clapped as Jordan placed a hand on her shoulder. This woman showed courage when others chose silence. From now on, she leads here, as our Director of Ethics and Culture. Maya's eyes filled with tears. She bowed her head, overwhelmed by applause. For the first time, she felt seen. The staff gathered, some smiling, some still stunned. But they knew change was real. The Gilded Pearl was no longer a prison of silence. It was becoming a beacon of justice. Jordan's voice closed the moment. This place will serve more than food. It will serve dignity. And for the first time in a long time, Maya breathed freely. The chandeliers still glowed, but the real light came from something else. Truth finally spoken aloud. This story reminds us, change doesn't always begin with the powerful. Sometimes it begins with the one person brave enough to whisper the truth. Maya proved that integrity can't be silenced. Jordan showed that real leadership means protecting those who dare to speak. And here is the lesson for all of us. Injustice survives in silence, but justice begins when someone chooses courage. If this story touched you, don't let it end here. Share it with someone who needs to be reminded that bravery matters. Leave your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your voice too. And most of all, subscribe to this channel. Join us so together we can keep telling stories that shine a light in the dark. Stories that remind the world. Dignity is not optional. It's a right.
Thank you for watching.